freedom is more valuable than anything, but few of us actually know what the true meaning of it is. How does it feel when someone takes away 20 years of your life because of someone else's mistake? 20 years that no one can get back. People make all kinds of mistakes, but these are the most expensive. The story about Clinton Lee Young. On that fateful day, no one could even imagine what would happen. Several young people will soon seal their fate. 4 men between the ages of 18 and 22 head to a hidden location in Texas. The 5th man is the driver. On that sunny day, November 24th, 2001, the darkness enveloped them. Something happened that will change the lives of them all. The driver is killed, and the question immediately arises: who is the killer? One life has been extinguished, and someone should be held accountable. Young people with so much future ahead of them, so much to do. One of the convicted murderers of that time is Clinton Young. He was convicted of 2 murders. The first murder happened on November 24th, 2001, where the victim was Doyle Douglas. During that period, he and 4 other people, Doyle Douglas, David Page, Mark Ray, and Darnell McCoy, went to a location known to them to buy drugs. When they arrived in front of the medicine house, they stopped and David Page got out of the car to go to the door. After knocking on the door, there was no answer. At the moment when Page turned to the car and headed towards it, shots were heard. Doyle Douglas was shot in the head. He didn't die after being shot in the head, but was left by a greater force at the mercy of his companions during that period. After they were convinced that he was not dead, the 4 men put Douglas in the trunk and headed for the forest, all the while driving politely so as not to be noticed. After they got to the forest, they came up with the idea of throwing him into the stream so that he would drown if he hadn't died in the meantime. But that was not enough for them. A man pulls out a gun, and Douglas is shot in the head once more, this time in the back of the head, where he died from that repeated shot. After this murder, the 4 men started moving away from the scene of the crime. Ray and McCoy were left somewhere on the side of the road, while Page and Clinton held on together at that moment. The next day, driving in Douglas's car, they decided to stop at a gas station as they were running low on fuel. At the moment when they were pouring fuel, Clinton got out of the car and approached the register, buying cigars and some snacks. As soon as he got out, he saw Page sitting behind the wheel of a pickup truck. That pickup truck then belonged to a man named Samuel Petre, who was completely unknown to Clinton. At that moment, Petre was in the passenger seat. Clinton didn't want to get into that pickup truck and got into Douglas's car and drove off. Page was driving behind him the whole time in the truck with Petre still in the passenger seat. After driving a few miles in Douglas's car, they decided to dump the car, and the 3 men continued to drive in the truck. After hearing them in court, it's still unknown how exactly things unfolded. But one thing is certain: Petre was also killed in the oil field. Noticing all that, Clinton didn't want anything to do with Page anymore, so he left. Page takes advantage of that and goes to the police station and gives a statement that Clinton committed 2 murders and that he held him hostage all the time until he managed to escape. Clinton was convicted purely on the basis of the 3 co-defendants' statements. But are their claims credible and trustworthy? There are no fingerprints, any DNA evidence, or other proven measures to hold Clinton accountable for the 2 killings. This was the interrogation of one of the accomplices, Mark Ray.
So we can step back And Clint walked over to the body and folded up the pillow and put it back over his head and pulled the trigger again. And he ran around to the front of the car and got back in and told us to get in.
Judge Moore issued the warrant and set the date for execution. On October 26, 2017, Young filed a motion to vacate the warrant, alleging that prosecutors used false or perjured testimony to gain his conviction and death sentence. He contended that gunshot residue on David Page's gloves and testimonials from 4 detainees stating that Page boasted about murdering and framing Young would prove Page was the true perpetrator. Young arrived just 8 days before his execution. On October 18, 2017, however, the TCCA issued an order postponing his execution and requiring the trial court to hold an evidentiary hearing on his claim of erroneous or perjured testimony. Following Petty's retirement, Assistant District Attorney, a member of Young's prosecution team who worked both as a full-time prosecutor and a part-time law clerk to the judges of Midland County, the case was transferred to a new prosecutor, and Young's attorney got a phone call from the Midland District Attorney's office in August 2019, notifying the defense for the first time of Petty's dual involvement in the case and judicial conflicts of interest. Hearing about this story, Jessica Valerius decided to do an interview with him. In 2017, Valerius makes the sequel Deal with Death, in which she unravels his case and focuses on one question: did Clinton Young do it?
Can you remember how you felt when the first shots were fired?
It was like, I don't know, I mean, I can't really describe it. You know what I'm saying? It was like
a foundation with his name has even been set up to help the wrongfully convicted. Senior Judge Sid Harrell recommended that the TCCA overturn Young's conviction on April 26, 2021, citing brazen and shocking prosecutorial misconduct that he claimed obliterated any pretense of a fair trial. The TCCA approved Young's appeal for a fresh trial on September 22, 2021. The TCCA remanded the matter to the trial court, where the Dawson County District Attorney would decide whether to retry Young or drop the charges against him. Young was granted liberty after the trial court set bail at $150,000. In January 2022, Clinton was released on bond with the help of the foundation. This makes Clinton the first former death row inmate who made it out on bond. Would there be more convicts unjustly on death row? And does this give them hope now? He dedicated his life after prison to his family and getting used to freedom. But his freedom did not last long. In August 2022, something happened again. There's no reason to take him up again, according to a lawyer. In the USA, the death penalty is applied if a person poses a future threat to society. Clinton has been free for 7 months and is behaving admirably, so the prosecution has no interest in his remaining free since they will never be able to establish risk again. Do we find this acceptable in a country like the USA? Fortunately, his lawyer got him out for the second time after posting $150,000 in bail. If you liked this video and want more content like this, hit that like and subscribe button. Thanks for watching.